Now then, in this episode, I visit Adrian Jones, just south of Greater London here in the UK. Adrian has been collecting mid-school bikes, parts and various other bits and pieces for about 10 years now, and these days, much of his attention has been on Terrible One. He's managed to amass just about every limited frame variant made by Terrible One, which is no mean feat in itself. So with the exception of a handful of bikes, this episode is almost a T1 special. You'll have to forgive me though, as we do stray into the new school era with a couple of items like his Ruben bike and a couple of S.F.As. Apart from that, it's the usual format. A bit of chit-chat about his early rides and how he got into collecting mid-school stuff. So grab a beverage, get comfy and enjoy this great collection. So here we are, Adrian Jones's cave. Let's get into it. Adrian, start from the beginning with us. Where did it all begin for you? Mid-school, I guess you rode back in the day.
Yeah, I suppose started riding. Well, I suppose if you go right back to the beginning, my first bike was Rally Ultra Night Burner.
Right, yeah, Rally Byrnes, it was the UK staple, wasn't it?
I got mine at the sort of end of the really popular times. I had a grifter, which I tried.
My brother had one of those too.
Which I tried to follow people on, but yeah, it's I needed a BMX, so
yeah.
I got a BMX, a night burner for my birthday. Rode that to death, then got into just as mountain bikes came in. I suppose I got moved on to mountain bikes.
All right, yeah,
a bit, and then when I was at college, got back into BMXs. A friend of mine had a garage full of BMXs, and we built some BMXs from that, just to mess about on. And so I rode cannibalized BMXs all through uni.
Mongrel BMXs.
BMXs that changed colour every single week. Yeah, I was just spray bombing them to death and riding them, thrashing them, trying to find new parts.
So where does the mid-school come into it for you then?
Mid-school, when I moved to London, I guess. I'd been doing a bit of flatland in my hometown of Bridlington, so on the seafront. We used to ride a bit of flatland because there wasn't any parks or dirt jumps or anything around, so we used to ride a little bit of street and flatland. So that's where I started with KHE, really, the love of KHE. I had a DNA Hopper, I think, was the first.
Yeah.
Hopper was
about 95 or something.
Something like that, yeah. But I really wanted a cat weasel at the time, but I couldn't afford it. Then I got KHE Lager. I suppose that was the first proper flatland bike that I had. That got stolen. Then I had a Fishbone Big Ass or Badass or
Big Ass, I think.
That was a horrifically heavy, awkward bike.
Just horrific.
Just horrific. And yeah, I don't know why people love them now, but they were
they have their own little sort of
niche
fan base, don't they?
There is a niche for them. So yeah, I moved to London. And I brought for work. I got a job in London. I brought that with me. Soon realised that it wasn't really what I wanted to ride.
Yeah.
And I found Edwards bike shop.
Well, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Edwards, yeah, in Camberley, I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a Mongoose fuzz.
Right.
So that was 97, I think.
97, 98, yeah.
97, 98. So yeah, I rode that around. Then I got introduced to Stockwell skatepark, which I was riding that.
Famous Stockwell skatepark.
Stockwell skatepark. I sold that frame on to Pirate Tony, which famous guy from Stockwell skatepark that a lot of people know. He rode it a lot better than me and absolutely thrashed the living daylights out of it. And then I think I bought a KG Beta. No, actually, sorry, tell a lie. I bought a Hoffman Evel Knievel.
Whoa! What, one of the original white ones?
The original white one. I bought that from Edwards, and that was probably the worst bike I've ever bought.
What, in the way it rode? Or?
The way it rode, it was just nasty. People love them, but absolutely dog shit bike. The frame geometry of it.
I have to say, like, going to different skate parks at the time, never saw anybody riding one.
No, they were really expensive. I bought it. It came with all the bits. It had primo cranks, and it was just a complete bike. And I sold the frame for 40 quid to an American guy who was desperate for it.
Wow, 40 quid, and they go for daft money now, don't they?
Yeah, silly money. Yeah, sold that for 40 quid, and I got a KG Beta.
As you do.
KG Beta, which I've actually, that white one.
Is that the?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's a reproduction of it.
Yeah.
With the same stickers that I had on it.
Cool.
So yeah, and I rode KG Beta. Most people remember me having that stupid Evel Knievel bike.
Knievel, yeah.
Yeah, so that was. I think I had a couple of Easterns after that. I had a Jane and an Ace of Spades.
Yeah, an old friend of mine, John Spur, he rode, what was this, the Tarzan? Pretty sure it was the Jane.
Yeah, the Janes were everywhere.
Yeah. The Tarzans were a bit chunkier work than John Spur, really smooth rider, ramp, street, trails. Just that bit lighter, I think, and just more agile. Yeah.
I used to go down to I had a friend who'd gone to uni in Bournemouth, so we used to go ride down Slade's Farm.
All right.
And a couple of the dirt jump tracks that were down there. We used to go down there quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, got introduced to some proper BMX shops down there.
So what would you have known, like Leroy and Pickle the 5710 gang at that stage?
No, I didn't know. We were
Jesus.
No.
Right. Just separate
separate groups, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd just come in and ride, but yeah, we didn't know the locals really.
Yeah.
So that was
I suppose when you did go to somewhere, the next town or the next city, and you were going to somewhere new, like seem to remember it through rose-tinted glasses about how everybody was so friendly and welcoming, but there was also that little sort
tension.
Yeah.
Unless it was like an American group coming to ride, or people from other towns were, they were not.
Yeah.
Stockwell was very welcoming to everybody, actually, but there were other places that I rode. I used to go back to Hull and ride Rock City a bit, and I didn't know anyone who rode there. I just came in, had a go, and
did your thing.
Did my thing, carried on.
Yeah.
But I went through quite a lot of bikes. I had a couple of General Lees. They snapped.
Yeah, they do, or did. Quite notorious for it, especially those Gen 1s. Oh, a couple of them have come up just recently, haven't they? Nick Bevan's had a couple, and that obviously went to Paul Warren.
Yes,
But yeah, there's been a couple of them floating about recently, and again fetching good money. Tidy examples.
Well, yeah, because so many of them broke.
Yeah, there's not many left.
Well, yeah, because there were so many broke, and then they would warranty them to a certain point, and then you'd end up with one with a star gusset.
Yes, that's right. They were Gen 2, weren't they?
The Gen 2.
Yeah. Because I think the Gen 1s, were they Caston?
Yes.
Yeah,
probably.
Just like the Gen 1 and 2 Sobs, I think. Yeah, Caston. I'm pretty sure they were Caston.
But yeah, didn't really see any T1s at Stockwell at all.
I suppose in the early days, being as there were only 50 barcodes made initially, how many of them made it to the UK shores?
We did
half a dozen or so.
We did see. I did see Robbie Morales ride at Stockwell.
All right.
Just smooth as anything. Just going round and round and round. Just
transfers.
Just not really doing any tricks. Just smooth, continuous, going around the whole place. That was
those old racers. That's what they had, isn't it? In buckets, smoothness.
Yeah.
By the bucket load.
I can't really remember any of the other riders that were there, but I think they'd come for probably an Interbike.
Yeah, the bike show. Yeah. Were it 98 or 99? It'd have been 99 if Robbo were on a progression, would it?
It would. Yeah.
So it'd have been 99.
Yeah, they came out in 98.
Yeah.
99.
I'm pretty sure it was 98, or was it the Barcode 98 and the progression 99? Anyway, someone will answer.
No, it is. They both came. The first progression and the first Barcode were 98.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, that was me riding at Stockwell quite a lot. I think I stopped when they resurfaced, because they closed it for resurfacing.
I vaguely remember, yeah.
And that just everyone kind of dispersed after that, and just kind of I moved away as well. Yeah. It wasn't so easy for me to get to Stockwell, so I didn't ride so much.
So were you did you keep your bikes from those days? Or did you get into collecting much later on?
Much later on.
Right.
So I think the last bike I bought while I was still, the last bike I bought to ride was a S&M black bike with the barbecue paint, which was a Gen 2.
Barbecue paint?
Yeah, it's like a crackle paint.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I know the one you mean now. Yeah.
It had the stamped head tube and the stamped seat stays with the
seat stay caps.
With the seat stay caps, which the Gen 1 didn't have.
Yeah, the Gen 1 had the Euro bottom bracket as well, didn't it?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Flat bike, yeah.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
It was one of the very early Euro bottom bracket frames, I think.
Yeah, I remember getting the frame and just not really understanding what I had to do to put
the bottom bracket in.
I was like, what bottom bracket does this need? Yeah, so I got the frame and then had to work out how to fit all the bits to it.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Paris, I wonder if he's still got it actually. He had the Gen 1 black bike with the Euro bottom bracket. I must get in touch with Richard.
Yeah.
See what he's got there. Although I've said it numerous times on various pages, Instagram and everywhere, I hate friendly Euro bottom brackets.
Yeah.
They just make no sense to me. And on their own, they just look weird. So it's US bottom bracket or mid for me. The Euro just
Spanish. I don't understand Spanish.
No, I'm absolutely even less of a clue about Spanish than I do Euro. So,
but during, I think I was going to say, before the last bike I bought to ride, I bought a Garett code.
Right.
From someone I vaguely knew at Brixton, and he was selling his mashed up Garett code. And it was at the point of, I blame Phil Dolan for this, the drilling phase.
Oh, what had they done?
So for a Garett code, with the chopped off the
seat post.
the seat post, and they drilled the dropouts like Swiss cheese, and the bottom bracket as well was drilled.
Oh.
But it was a barcode, and I had to have it. I think it cost me about 80, 90 quid.
Really? Even with those modifications?
Even that busted up, it still... Because I hadn't really seen that many Garett codes around, and I didn't realise that the seat post, it was missing a seat post, because it was black as well. It'd been bombed black and silver for some strange reason.
Oh, Lord. The drilling era.
The drilling era. And yeah, and what happened was I rode it, and because I was not the lightest guy riding, the dropouts collapsed because they just, when I do
all the meat had been taken out.
All the meat had been taken out of them. So I did a couple of heavy landings on it, and I think I rode it for about 6 months before the dropouts just...
Oh, you did well to get 6 months out of it.
Well, yeah, I was... Yeah.
have you got any pictures from that time?
Not really, no.
That's a shame.
Unfortunately, no.
That's a shame.
I've got some pictures of my... some of the Fishbone Badass crap bike, but you don't.
I will need to see those.
and some of the Garett Byrnes mashups that I had as well.
Yeah, I'm not so bothered about the old school stuff, but
the Fishbone. I'll see if I can dig out the picture.
Yeah, that'd be amazing if you could. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but I couldn't, when I had the Garett, I couldn't work out what the person had done with the seat post, because he'd cut the seat post off and then jammed another seat post, so the seat was virtually flat to the frame.
Oh, just to make it that bit easier to fix.
And yeah, it didn't. I don't. Yeah, it didn't have a seat clamp of any description on it. It was just wedged in. Because there was a whole period where people were cutting.
That's right. Yeah.
The seat post down so they could slam the seats so they were on the frame essentially.
Yeah.
Which I never really understood either.
So was it Barcodes from then on in for you? Or did you have a few different bits and pieces?
Well, no, I think that was having the Garett. That was I bought the black bike after that.
Yeah.
And that was it really. I rode that for a few years.
A tough old frame then, the black bike.
Brilliant frame. I just really, I thought that was the best I'd got to really. It was just slightly longer than the bikes I'd had before.
Any thoughts about getting another one for the collection? Out of nostalgia?
I've had 2 more. Because that's when I stopped riding, was about 2007. In 2015, it had been sat in my garage for quite a while. I'd moved around houses from flats, and I actually had a garage. And I put it on eBay, and I think it sold for about 100 quid.
Right.
And selling that bike, I realised I'd made a mistake. And that got me into collecting.
Right.
It was like...
That was the eye-opener.
That was the eye-opener. I sold it and went, oh, damn it. I shouldn't have sold that, because I've just realised that, I should keep some of these bikes. So yeah, I'd completely got rid of everything.
So you were starting from scratch.
So
you mentioned earlier that you had, at one point, had quite a collection of KHEs.
Yes.
Was that the first sort of brand that you really latched onto in terms of collecting?
Yes. But before that, the first bike I bought was a S&M next gen dirt bike.
Ah, right, yeah.
And I bought, I think it was really cheap, 40 quid or something like that. I bought that, built it up badly with just bits I could buy from Halfords. And
right.
Thought, this is not what I want, really. It was, I had ring-worn tyres on it, and it was just...
Yeah, really tiny things.
Tiny, and it just looked bad. I found some profile cranks from somewhere, But yeah, I thought that was not really what I was looking for. And so the first bike I bought was a KG 97 KG Beta, a trans blue one. I think that was £100 I paid for that, and it came with Super Pros, profiles, and that's, I think, how I met Nick Bevan.
All right.
Because he was after it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he messaged me after I bought it on eBay because he wanted it.
With a, did you get that bike?
Yeah, did you get that bike? Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Classic Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was the start of his journey as well. He was just starting to buy bikes.
Yeah, yeah. I think the trans blue, Matt Sully's was trans blue, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I know my one ended up in the bonfire.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Right.
So I bought that, and then I bought a couple of other S&M bikes.
Yes.
So I bought a Holmes, another dirt bike, and I think I bought that KG Beta actually.
Right.
So I was building them up, and I was getting them more. Because I was looking online, I found BMX Museum.
Ah, right, yeah.
So I was seeing what they looked like, and I'd repainted them. I hadn't got into powder coating then. I was doing
rattle can jobs.
Rattle can jobs, but I used to be quite good at painting bikes.
Right, yeah.
After the many burners repaints,
Yeah.
I'd got quite good at it.
Yeah.
But I remember selling the Beta, and I think Nick told me that the wheels were worth more than that I'd sold the entire bike for.
Really?
But I'd bought it for £100, sold it for £250, not realising the wheels alone were worth
a couple of £100 at least.
Yeah, because they were mint.
Yeah, yeah.
Super Pros. And it's like, nuts! I won't fall for that one again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So when I started collecting, I'd been pointing in the direction of the Midschool pages, of which there weren't that many.
Yeah.
Back then, but Midschool Days was probably the prominent one, certainly for the UK. And I think James Kirk were advertising a minty Noz Duke. I just fell in love with that. I thought, oh, yes, definitely want that. But I was actively searching for the Park.
Yeah.
But that Duke really caught my eye. So it never happened, and the Park happened. So I made the right decision in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot of those things. A lot of the things you in collecting, you find out later, and it's you buy and sell stuff. Just sometimes you win a lot, and sometimes you kick yourself. It's, I shouldn't have sold that.
Yeah, because I mean, I've sometimes thought to myself, maybe you should, buy in, do a bit more buying, a bit more selling, and try and bump up, a bit of money for dangling in front of people who do have what you want.
Yeah.
The grails. But I've never been very good at buying and selling anything particularly.
No, I always seem to buy high, sell low. So it's the curse, I think. I don't know. It's
although you did well on that barcode of mine that I sold you, I'm pretty sure. Were they proper T1 forks? Can you remember? I've been told they were, but I weren't sure whether they were Gen 1 or Gen 2 forks. Going back a couple of years now.
It is. I've only got one set of Gen 1 T1 forks, which I bought a long time ago. There were most forks available are Gen 2s.
Yeah.
But it's...
Well, as I'm in your loft and you've got a lot of barcodes, I'm not going to, say I'm not a particular fan of barcodes, hence why I don't have one in the collection.
You don't have...
Because I might end up in a case in the loft or out the back somewhere.
You don't have 3 barcodes.
You're
missing out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or 3 T1s, for that matter. But I've said if I were going to get a T1, it'd be the Progression, which are obviously, very, very sought after.
Well, yeah, I've got two.
Yeah,
The two, the
generations.
the Gen 1 Spooky made and the Gen 2, which not Spooky made, I can't quite remember. It's not Mass, it's another company made them.
Was it Brew that made them?
Brew, yes, Brew that made them.
Good old Steve Garn. He's had his fingers on a lot of frames. Or certainly his welding shop has.
Yeah.
Because of course Spooky Dave worked for Steve Garn for a little bit.
Yeah, there's some strangeness about Spooky Dave at the moment, but I don't know what go into that.
Yeah, no, let's not. Otherwise I'll be getting done for slander and libel and so yeah, so what have we got? We've got, what's this, beta?
So that's a Fulcrum KG beta. So that's a second
Survivor.
generation. So yeah, fully Survivor. The next one is also the same KG beta, but that's been repainted.
2 hip crowbars?
2 hip crowbars.
I thought I recognised it. Oh, there's the sticker down there,
yeah. My favourite bars, actually.
Out of the 4 pieces for me as well.
Yeah. I've had quite a few sets of them.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I just love them. And there was someone selling them on eBay, and just had loads and loads of them. I think it must have been a bike shop that there was closing down or something, because they just had...
I think it was when Shiners sacked BMX off.
Possibly.
Because it wasn't long into the sort of early 2000s that Shiners distribution said, do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this BMX thing anymore. or if we do, we're not going to be going for the sort of higher end brands.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it was Shiners.
It's got a Curtis sticker on it.
Yeah, I noticed
because
that, yeah.
I had originally Curtis DSR forks on my beta.
Ah, right.
And I can't find another set.
How many did they make? 5, 6?
Well, yeah, there was special order. That was one of the things I did mail order out of Ride magazine. Was I rang them up and said, "Can I have a set of forks?" And
Curtis DSR forks.
I couldn't afford the entire frame set.
Because they were expensive, weren't they?
Yeah, made out of
T45.
T45.
Yeah.
But they were amazing forks. But when I sold my beta, I sold them on it. They just went with the frame, which I regretted. But when I rang up Curtis about 5 years ago, they said they had some on the shelf, but they were twisted, so they couldn't sell them. I said, you just put them in a jig and remake
like
them.
they do with cars.
Just remake them for me.
Well, I'm going to say, if you're willing to pay the money, what's so difficult, surely?
I know. I would have just paid for another set.
Then we've got the Mutiny Undertaker, which I last saw at the Mid-Jam in Bournemouth back in, was it October?
Yes, fully built up then.
Yeah, it was a full bike then, wasn't it? So we briefly touched earlier on the fact that it's supposed to be a Taiwanese version.
Yes, because on the chainstays are indented like a lot of Taiwanese frames are, and not meant. Well, I don't think there's any US made frames that have the indents.
Yeah, I must admit, it does look like it's been. It does have that signature, but
yeah, I thought they were all made in America, and I didn't even realise that they were made by Solid, the prototypes, but they must have farmed them out. It's also got a set of Mutiny forks on there as well.
But weren't they retailing at USA made prices?
Yeah.
Steve Inge, if you're watching, can you chip in on this, please, in the comment section?
Need to know what the story is on these.
Yeah, because I mean there is a serial. It does have what looks like an overseas serial, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought they were as American made as you can get.
Well, yeah, I did as well. I mean, like I said recently, a couple of emails back and forwards with Aaron Hoff, and he dropped into the conversation that he'd made mutinies and a few kinks, as well as obviously the solid stuff. So I just immediately assume that this would have been one of those solid made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, Bennett.
Yep.
So obviously I've just finished restoring mine recently. What's the story behind this one? Is it just one of those must-haves for you?
Just a must-have, really. This is the fourth one I've had.
All right.
I had when I had a bit of a phase of buying in my because of collecting phase. I had a bit of a S&M phase, so I bought quite a few different bikes. But I've had an original brown one, which was quite a cool looking frame.
Yes.
Had a cream one, which I don't think that was just a spray bombed one. I think this is a Gen 2 because it hasn't got the Caston USA stamping on it.
Ah, right. Yeah. I think it's a Gen 3 with the snake stays.
Oh, it's a Gen 3 then. Yeah, you probably know better, but yes, it's just a nice looking frame.
Yeah, they are. Super progressive geometry on them, weren't they? Especially with the rear end being quite short. What length is this one?
It's a 21, I think.
Yeah, same as mine.
Then.
Yeah. Really smart looking frame.
It's probably got the nicest red neck I've ever had on it.
I was going to say that is very, very tidy. I'm not at all knowledgeable on the generations of
I think it's
the stems, but that's an early one because it's got the very square edges, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's very sharp. I think it's the first one. I think it's slightly bigger opened up for gyros, so it's not a Gen 1, but
yeah,
it's one of the early ones.
One of the early 1-on-1/8. Yeah. No, that is a very, very tidy looking redneck. That very nice.
No, it's just a nice bike to ride as well. It's
good old pig headsets. You couldn't beat a pig for the money.
No,
I think they're bloody brilliant headsets.
Well, yeah, and the Primo headsets were the same as the pig.
Yeah,
you could just swap the bearings over.
That's right. Yeah, interchangeable. I got Hoffman. Is that what's? Just looking at the sprockets on the Undertaker and.
Oh, it's got a kink.
This one's a kink. Yeah, what's that one on?
It's a Odyssey.
Ah, right. Is it Richard Gere?
Yeah, Richard Gere. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll say it and I'll say it again. They were so creative.
The naming of stuff and packaging of stuff was just amazing, wasn't it?
No shit's given. Yeah. Like Richard Gere. Bloody brilliant. And then moving on to the Sob.
Yeah.
In that lovely green.
Again, I've had quite a few Sobs.
Yes, as well.
Yeah. And jump bars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few ratty ones. This one, I've had a few, and I've also had a few that have been restored by Leroy. This one was repaired by Leroy. Got the dropouts repaired. The chainstays are made of the thinnest metal known to man.
Really?
I think.
Did we discover this as a result of Leroy's repairs?
Leroy's repairs. They said that they'll just dent on for no reason.
I think he put the heat to it.
Well, no, I think he repaired them because they were so dented. They were just like so wibbly all the way down.
Do you know what? I've got to agree with you because not my particular Sob. The stays on that weren't as bad as some I've seen. My friend Wayne, he's still got his Gen 2 Sob, and the stays are absolutely they are not an inch anymore in diameter in certain places.
But surprisingly, not a heavy bike.
No, they're not.
No, and they're because they're a jump bike, and so they're not heavy. That's why I think the metal's really thin.
I think I weighed mine at about 6.5 or 6 3/4 pounds.
Yeah,
which for the time, considering it was supposed to be all slightly overbuilt tank, by far from it.
Yeah,
and it makes you realise why Taj hopped on one on Road Fools 1.
Yeah,
as his backup go-to bike.
No, they're very good. So I've had a couple that I just had to sell at the time, just money wise. I think I had a couple restored, repowdered. So yeah, I've had 2 white ones, but I thought this one I'd go for the classic racing green.
And you've got the classic pad.
Yes, and the classic stickers as well.
Ah, right, yeah. No, because Paul Warren were recently asking.
I know he was,
one,
yeah.
I think Jonathan Sherwood's hooked him up.
Yeah, I was holding my tongue on that one because he was just like, anyone got these pads? And I was like, yeah, I've got them on my sub. But yeah, he's put it on his General Lee, hasn't he?
Were they vinyl like that, or were they, the cloth?
No, they're vinyl like this.
Oh, right.
They're horrible pads.
Well, we're going to say I'd have expected them to be more cloth-like texture.
Yeah, look at them.
Like the S&M pads.
Yeah. I think because DK had such a race history, I think it was just a bit of their race kind of bike.
Sponsors may have said, well, if you're going to get them made, make them so that they can be cleaned.
Yeah, maybe.
And, so that the branding's
kept so you can just wipe the mud off them.
Yeah. Maybe someone can chip in on that.
Yeah. Do need some jump forks for these though. They've just got pitchforks. Stick it up.
Ah, right.
Oh yeah, that's
very good.
It's a very nice bike.
You've got the iron cross pedals on, although that must be pretty heavy now, even without pegs, because what you got on, you've got DK 14mm front. Is that a DK on the back?
DK wheels, yeah.
Those pedals are well heavy.
Well heavy pedals, well heavy DK cranks.
Yeah. So it is, the lightweight frame is now offset by the various components you've put on it, but
yeah,
it's what we did, wasn't it?
If you put 36 hubs on it, race wheels, it'd be a very light bike.
It would, yeah. And just nice overall geometry as well. So, starting over on this side, I've got a few wheels and whatnot. Are these projects coming up? Or just have them for having them sake?
They're off, G Sport wheels.
They're the Homers?
Yeah, they're Homers. And back.
Big city lights. I never went the lights. I rode big cities, BFRs before big cities. But by the time the lights came along, I think I'd moved on to Odysseys.
Yeah, you might see quite a lot of my rims are BFRs or big cities.
Yeah.
Because do you remember when Cycle Sports closed down?
Yes.
I bought stacks and stacks and stacks of rims from them.
Yeah.
For no money at all.
Liquidation sale.
Yeah. Literally I must have had 200 rims.
I used to swear by some.
Yeah, but the BFRs were amazing.
And on to the T1s. Here we are. So this one's the Gen 1, you say?
Gen 1 progression.
With the bullet tip stays.
Bullet tip stays, 10mm dropouts.
10mm slot dropouts. Any other telltale markers between them?
The
head tubes are the same, aren't they?
Head tubes are the same.
Are the tubing diameters the same?
I think slightly.
I think that one looks slightly oversized.
Slightly bigger, and the ovalization at the seat tube is a little bit more on the first one, I think.
More pronounced,
yeah.
Sort of more obvious. Yeah, I think you're probably right there, yeah.
And they are incredibly heavy bikes.
Bottom bracket wishbone on the Gen 2.
Oh, yeah.
Just straightforward double diamond on the Gen 1. Always learning. So, obviously, I saw Jonathan Sherwood's progression. Yeah,
so this one is completely original stickers.
Yeah, you can.
There's most of the progressions out there have been restored, but these two have no restoration to them at all.
Yeah, that's a fine survivor. So, have you built this up obviously with the intention of using survivor parts?
Yes, I have.
To keep it.
The only thing that's a bit shiny for me is the challenge.
The challenger
stem. But yeah, it's built up with survivor parts essentially. using my favourite brake.
That feels pretty good, that Shimano.
Shimano brakes. Yeah, I do like the Shimano brake. Actually, I had one on my first mountain bike had a Shimano brake.
Hang on a minute, did you say you've had the dropout on? Or
No.
Original 10mm dropouts?
10mm dropouts, but
that's a 14mm axle.
Slotted.
Ah. What, right where it just goes into the axle?
Yes.
Wow, someone's gone to some length there. Is that you that's gone to that?
Yeah, me with a grinder. That's
That's Midschool, isn't it? It's modify.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Modify.
So yeah, running on Primo Sob wheels. Both of them actually running on the same set of wheels.
Oh yeah.
The second gen has been the dropouts have been opened up to 14.
Right.
So didn't need to slot the axle for that one.
So Gower powers on both of them.
Yeah, and that one's got the Gen 2 has got the motorcycle chain.
Yes,
because for the life of me, I couldn't get the ACS claw freewheel off.
Right. Was it already damaged from having a fat chain?
Well, no, it was a specific fat chain one.
The SS claws? I thought they could take any chain, those, more or less.
No, this has definitely got thicker
teeth.
Yeah, because I tried to put a chain on it and I couldn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But yeah, there's a lot of bikes have had their chain stays damaged by having those fat chains.
Yeah, it was the rollers, wasn't it? The actual diameter of the rollers that did the damage. It just wore the teeth.
Yeah,
until eventually you'd just be slipping gears.
But also ground the metal of your chainstays away.
Yeah, my Gen 1 Kink Empire, that was the worst out of all my frames to suffer from that. It was I think my gnarly gash.
Yeah, the 99 Caston was absolutely destroyed by that.
Yeah, I mean, right there with your chain alignment as it is passing that chainstay with like a millimetre seat stay by a millimetre, if that. So then, what I forgot here on the olive one is that's
a Ruben?
A Ruben?
That's an original Ruben. So that's
what year would that be?
2000. It's kind of late Midschool. That's 2005, 2006, I think.
Right. So
really end of. It's just before, because that was the first version. Before they went to integrated headsets.
Yeah, you've still got the King Cups in there. I see. Yeah.
I could never afford King stuff.
So is
back in the day?
No. Well, who could? Like, you have to be seriously middle class to be able to afford that.
I only got that frame came with those King cups in it, and the frame when it arrived was damaged by the post office. The bottom bracket was all squashed in, so I couldn't get any bearings in it.
Euro bottom bracket as well, or Spanish?
I like to say Spanish, I think.
Just push fit bearings.
Push fit bearings.
Right, a bit Spanish then. A little bit smaller, aren't they, than the mid?
Yeah. I don't know. I've just my S&M prototype barcode that I've got downstairs. I'll show you in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's got Spanish, and we came up with a mid. Yeah, they are just slightly smaller. Because I tried to put a mid one in and went, oh.
Yeah. They're just fractions of an inch difference.
I don't know, but yeah, it came with the King headset, and the guy refunded me all the money because it was damaged for the frame. So I got the frame for free and the headset as well.
Yeah, is that one Leroy repaired then?
It didn't actually. I repaired it myself.
Right. How did you do that?
A lot of elbow grease actually, and it just I found a tutorial online how to repair bottom brackets that had been dented in just at the cups.
Yes.
And so I used just a massive crowbar and some heat and just gently reshaped it.
The off-white
cream
Caston.
Yeah. That's probably had
So what's that? Is that
99.
Gen 2?
No, it's a it's a Gen 2 barcode. Yeah,
It was spooky, cast, and then mass for a few years. Mass did them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or for a few generations at least.
That's probably had the most repair work ever from Leroy.
Well, right now it looks pretty bloody brand new. So
yeah, it was the guy who sold Bobby Parker in the States sold me it.
I've had a couple of bits off him.
Yeah, I think I sold it for $100 because it was really, really rough.
Yes.
And yeah, he was just surprised how well it came out. It's just back to new.
I'm just looking at the bars now. Tell me a little bit about the bars and the colouring. Is there a sequence to the colours to say which size they are?
Yes, so there is red, the ones in the bar. So
yes.
there's red, blue, and yellow originally, which was small, medium.
Large, presumably.
I don't think there was a large. I think they were all small. Just a small, medium. I think red was just the common colour.
Yes.
But there's blue. I'd like to say that the yellow is the smallest. And then
so it reflects the height of the bars.
Yeah, just the height of the bars.
Oh, the rise. Yeah.
And
I only recently discovered that nugget of information.
The rise of bars was a bit of a thing, and because the bars are very narrow as well, and these ones, the blue ones, those ones, they're not cut down at all. That's the actual size.
Yes.
And the Ruben bars are not cut down as well, so they're very narrow bars.
They are, aren't they?
Because we always used to cut at least an inch or so off bars, and those are very, very narrow.
I never rode the T1 bars. The bikes that I did get on that had them, I just didn't like the upsweep on them.
Yeah.
So I never got on with them, but they were so commonplace, weren't they?
The bars,
back around the turn of the millennium, absolutely everywhere you looked, someone was on a bike with T1 bars. Yeah. But again, that's the influence of Terrible One.
Well, yeah.
Joe Rich, Taj, Robbo, and obviously Ruben.
The next one along is 2003.
The white one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's also had a lot of Leroy assistance. Never actually came in white. They
weren't available in white.
Never available in white. But I just thought that would look quite interesting.
That looks nice. It does look nice, yeah.
And that one's got the spooky made forks on it, the Type R forks.
Oh, right.
Whereas the other ones have T1 Gen 2s, so the T1 Gen 1s are the Type Rs.
Yeah. So very, very similar, aren't they, to pictures?
The only difference is the weld round the very top. Near the race, near the bearing race at the top, there is an extra weld around. You can only you could
just make it out. Yeah, sweet. That's not going to be light with the G Sports.
No, it's a lot lighter than the Progressions, actually, though.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you've got no pegs on, have you? So
no. So yeah, the last one is a Euro code. So that's a bit late as well. That's 2006.
So
Euro code because it's got a Euro bottom bracket.
That's it. It wasn't a signature model.
No,
just known as Euro codes.
Bottom bracket. It did come with seat stay brakes or chain stay brakes.
All right.
So there's various
options.
There was options, yeah, depending on what you fancied. I think the idea of the seat stays was to just get the brakes out of the way of the chain ring, so you could run whatever chain rings you wanted. At that point, you could run smaller gearing now.
At that time, what year would that be?
2006.
Would it be that late? The Euro?
Yeah, 2005, 2006.
Well, at that point, the small chain rings were well into fashion, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the frame at the end is 2006 S.F.A. So that's a Garett S.F.A. with
That will be the T1 of choice for me, the S.F.A.
yeah. It's got the chain. It's got. They only did for this year the chainstay guards at the bottom that were the same as the original Garett code.
plate guards.
The plate guards,
Yeah.
which were. It's quite a good idea actually, but
Yeah, because it wouldn't have added that much weight.
no. And
how much difference it would have made to, resistance to damage, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Because, I mean, but he was known for being a pegless rider, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he was susceptible to steer damage from his pedal grinds.
Definitely, yeah.
And pedal stalls. So, yeah, I suppose sliding damage on coping and decent ledgers would have been potentially substantial.
Well, yeah,
so it must have been effective. Yeah. Oh my word! Oh yeah,
God, it's a bit cold up here, isn't it?
Your old bones. So, where we're going from left to right as I look at it.
Start at the left, yeah. So that's Scott Mallion. These are the four signature frames. So the first one is the Scott Mallion signature. That was also restored by Leroy because it was quite grotty, and then Superbike Dan did the paintwork on it. Yeah, I had many chats with Scott and Joe to try and work out how to do the paint, because it had lost all its paint essentially. It was just a wreck. And in the end, I took a frame into a custom paint shop in Essex somewhere, and just got them to match it. I had just had an original frame that I'd borrowed and just got the closest match. And Superbike Dan
that's come out really nice.
Did a really good job.
Really nice, yeah.
Obviously, he was known for his old school, but he certainly did some good work.
Where'd you get the decals from? Scott himself?
No, he didn't have any.
Right.
I just put out an ask on the T1 forums, and in the end, I was just sent them for free.
Cool.
Just by a guy who's just really kind, and helps a lot of people out still. But I got a signature sticker. Joe sent me a signature sticker, and I sent that to Scott, and he signed it.
So Joe still had original.
Oh, he still got
Mallion.
Yeah.
Blank unsigned stickers.
Actually, Scott has got a massive stack of them as well. I didn't realise at the time. I didn't ask Scott about them. I just asked Joe to send me them.
Yeah. That's a really nice bit of kit. That T1 forks.
T1 forks, yeah.
Those are the Type R's.
No, they're just the Gen 2s.
Yeah. So moving on to the red, and we
Wessel.
Firmly back into the Midschool with the US bottom bracket.
Yeah,
that's a Wessel code then.
That's a Wessel code. Yeah.
So talk me through these signature ones. Was it geometries? Obviously, Garett's is very.
The geometry is very similar. The Mallion is lighter than the others. He's actually got a titanium one as well, I think.
Scott's got a titanium one.
I think there was a titanium prototype of his frame as well. So Scott's one has got gyro mounts, and so has the Wessel.
Yeah, because they were both known to run them, weren't they? Yeah.
Whereas the other two don't.
Yeah. What about standovers, bottom bracket heights, anything like that? Are you aware of?
They're very similar. There's not a lot of difference in them.
Because I know T1, right from the offset, They had funny top tube lengths, I seem to recall.
Yes, like
20.625.
Yeah.
Just make it 20 and a half, 23 quarters, 20, you know.
So for the progressions, they came in 20 and 21.
Yes.
That was it. So the red one is 20, the Mark II is 21. 20-inch frames are short ass frames.
They are.
Well, really are. So the Wessel is a 20 as well.
Right.
So they made 50 20-inch, 50 20.6, and 50 21s of each signature.
Right.
I think there's not many
Of each. And even fewer of a specific size.
Yeah. So the Wessel is because he was sponsored by Demolition at the same time. I think his sponsor was Demolition and Etnies.
Yeah.
So got Demolition hubs, Demolition cranks. I think he actually had the chromoly cranks, which was a different version, but those are the alley ones with the skull and spine design down them. And seat post and seat clamp and seat, everything Demolition. I've only just managed to find the pedals for that.
The Demolition, the Trooper pedals or something.
Trooper metal pedals.
Yeah.
They're just all plastic. The ones that you find come up, or the broken. I think there was a broken set on eBay for years. I don't know why.
Right. What were it that broke? Axles?
No, the body was actually snapped.
Oh. Yeah.
And I think there's the rasta.
That's a chunky body, that.
Yeah, I know. To snap that, it's quite some effort. I know the Rasta ones keep coming up for sale, but I didn't want a set of those.
Get me started on those.
The whole Rasta thing was another
bad taste thing.
Oh, geez.
Oh. So then moving on to the
very special Garett code.
The very, very special Garett code.
So that's a custom Garett code.
It's a replica.
It's a replica.
Yeah.
Of the Garett code, made with a 2003 barcode. With the
built-in seat
post.
The
built-in seat post, and the grind plates on the chainstays added to it.
Yes. So to the untrained eye,
it's pretty
accurate.
It's pretty accurate. I did, because my first barcode was GB code, and that was, I couldn't afford buying because they go for silly money.
Yes.
I did ask Joe if it would be okay if I made a replica, and I said, I told him it was my first barcode, and he said, yeah, as long as they're not made, no one else has one made. He endorsed it and gave me measurements.
Wow.
Of the seat posts.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because it'd be so easy to get that wrong.
Oh God, yeah.
So easy to get the height of that wrong.
The height of the seat post, and that was the biggest bit. That was the head scratching for Leroy, was getting. It's actually the seat post is fine. It's getting the clamp on top
for the guts.
For the guts, which are the Marvin S&M Marvin guts that they came with. So it has to taper slightly. So there's a lot of backwards and forwards. But I got the.
That's incredible. That absolutely.
So
incredible.
It is. Yeah. Okayed with Joe.
And the sticker, 1 of 1. That's brilliant. I like that.
Well, yeah, because all the other stickers are custom, and I've just put that as it's a customer signature.
That's amazing. That.
Have
you printed the email off from Joe? In terms
I've got a massive message
email thread
for it. Yeah. But yeah, I asked him about the sticker as well, if he would be okay if I'd made that sticker, and he just laughed out loud. He thought it was amazing.
That's brilliant.
I really should get
Absolutely
Garett to
brilliant.
sign one. That would be pretty good if I get that.
Because they must have talked about it, you would think.
Possibly, yeah.
All right, Garett, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I've got a guy in the UK he's wanting to make a replica of your frame. Yeah, can you believe it? They must have done. It must have come into conversation.
Must have done, yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
And look at those wheels on it. The Peregrine Fat Jacks.
Peregrine Fat Jacks.
Now, I ran them on my pork back in the day.
I ran them on my General Lee.
Right.
To try and go dirt jumping with those wheels.
Yeah, not so much of a good idea.
That's probably why the head tube fell off. The General Lee was the weight of the wheels.
Yeah.
And I used to run SS profiles as well on them. But they're into I can't remember what the rims are. They are the Peregrine.
What were they called? Mad Max?
Yeah, they're the same as Mad Max, but they're they're the Pro ones, which UK Pro, which is the same as Mad Max. They just resticked them.
Really deep wall on those, isn't there? Like really deep wall.
Gav cursed me when I asked him to build them.
Because the spoke gauge as well.
Yeah, the thick spoke. I had to get the spokes made, send them to Gav to build the wheels. And
so normal spokes, I think, are 13 gauge, and these are 12.
12,
yeah. It goes the fatter they go, the smaller the number.
Yeah,
because I do remember I flat spotted the original rims on the Fat Jack wheel set that I bought new from Harry Hall's. Very quickly flat spotted. Because stupid Primo tyres only took 65 psi, and at the time I was doing big drops, sort of thing. I was absolutely gutted, and that's when I went to Sun Rims and started running the BFRs. And I got my shop, the guy at Harry Hall's, I think it was Duncan, to lace up my Fat Jacks to BFRs.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, the BFRs had the
brass eyelets.
Yeah. So I could stand to use the narrow gauge spokes on those. But it wasn't long after that for some reason or another the Fat Jacks went, and I can't remember why I got rid of them. But do you know what? I'm pretty damn sure I didn't sell them. Pretty sure they were in a skip at work. And am I kicking myself now?
Well, yeah, my original Garett code when the dropouts went, chucked it in a skip.
That's what we did.
Yeah, I used to give frames away to the grommets, the kids, because they had nothing.
Yeah,
which they were really made up with.
Yeah, the things you do. So finally, the Joe Rich code.
Joe Rich code. So that's actually my second Joe Rich code.
All right.
Because I had an OG one. This is a restored one.
Yeah.
But I swapped my OG one for the progression because I'd found this one hiding on eBay, all painted cream and looking very sorry for itself.
Yeah. So you had to rescue it.
Had to rescue it. It was badly painted. Stripped the paint off and found filler everywhere.
Oh no!
Car body filler is the curse of the seat stays, down tube, everything covered everywhere. So yeah, had to go to Leroy, fix it all up.
Cap in hand again.
Well, actually, he's still got one of my frames at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got another barcode.
He made a rod for his own back opening up because I think I was probably one of the first sort of beyond his area.
Yeah, and then as soon as
sending them down, and then I'm all over Instagram. Check out Leroy 5710.
And then Nick got me in. I think he had some repaired, and then I sent a few down to be repaired.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, we found the proper paint code for it as well. That was a bit of backwards and forwards with Joe and making sure it was the right one.
It's good that he's kept, you know, records
God, yeah.
like that. Because a lot of them haven't.
He didn't actually. It was just he's got a colour, like a Pantone colour chart of swatches, and he was going, right, I'll check it against the one that I have.
Have you used Pantone colours?
Is it Pantone or? It's a swatch of colours anyway.
Yeah,
he said, right, this is the colour, but it doesn't relate to a RAL code at all.
There'll be BS colours, British Standard colours. Because when I was doing my Metal Kids, Joe Carnal, he said, right, it's BSC 831 something. Of which you could possibly get the powder for it, but it's very, very difficult.
And a company will not buy a box of powder for your frame in that colour. No. It's got to be one of their standard.
Well, that's right, because unless you go to prismatic powders.
Prismatic, yes.
Who will do you in whatever, as long as it's in a pound or kilo measurement.
But I think American colours are different to UK colours, slightly. But anyway, we got there at the end, and I had it powdered and before I sold my OG one, just matched them, and they're exactly the same. Mm-hmm. The only thing I haven't got is the proper sticker sets for this. Yeah, the stickers on it are ones I've just made.
Oh, right. You've reproduced yourself.
Yeah.
With a bit of computer graphics.
It's a computer wizardry, yes.
Yeah.
The signature one is one that Joe sent me with his...
On the Garett?
No,
on the
so he signed it with his signature.
But the top tube decals?
No, they're just ones I've reproduced.
Cool.
They'll do for now, but I need to refine them.
Yeah.
The same as the head tube one as well is in a matte finish where it should be shiny, which is just bugs me a little bit. But it's most of them I haven't really, apart from the Wessel one, I haven't really gone for what the actual riders would have. Yeah.
It's just been more what you felt you would have rode.
Garett had a lot of Primo stuff on his.
But of course, he rode for XS, didn't he? XS parts.
Yes, so a lot of his. Definitely wouldn't have had Fat Jacks.
No, absolutely not. No.
Scott had all sorts of things, but I just went with
what you felt looked nice.
Primo bits, general Primo and S&M bits, I think. A couple of NOS frames here.
Oh. So what's this one?
So that's
the general barcode, 20.625.
Yeah, strange sizes, as you said, but that's one from Carl. That's that's 2001, I think.
It's casting, isn't it?
Oh no, that's a mass.
Is it?
Yeah.
On dropout.
Yes, the asymmetrical dropouts were brought in 2001.
Right, by mass.
Yeah, no T1 in the top.
Yeah.
And then this one is a S.F.A. Again, 2006, I think.
Oh, world of difference. World of difference. Yeah. Again with the bash protection on the chain space. Yeah.
And that one's got a bit of a strange story. That was a gift to Spooky Dave from Joe.
When Spooky Dave was presumably still riding.
And it stayed in his workshop on a shelf. It's never been ridden. And he sold it to Carl.
Wow. Beyond the confines of Adrian's loft, more easily to hand, Adrian's Terrible One problem continues in his home office with a prototype S&M made barcode, a modern Ruben, and one of the latest DEFCON made barcodes. A load of hats and other assorted accessories adorn shelves in his desk too. Problem, obsession, passion, call it what you will, but either way, Adrian has one hell of a collection, I'm sure you'll agree. Thanks for allowing me access, Adrian. Well, that's it for now. More episodes are in the planning, so don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share. Once again, thanks to the Roadians for being the soundtrack to this channel, and if you like what you hear, check them out here on YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, and if you're in Southwest UK, touring various venues too. Thanks for watching, bye bye.